After Alex Murdaugh was found guilty of the double murder of his wife and son and then sentenced to life in prison, the disgraced former attorney found his wife Maggie and son Paul deceased on their family property on June 7th of 2021 and is now paying for it. While we wait to go live into this press conference, let's take a look at a juror speaking out just earlier this morning.
Deliberating, going through the evidence. Everybody was pretty much talking, and I don't know, about 45 minutes later, after all our deliberating, we figured it out.
So it took basically 45 minutes for you guys to come to a decision?
Probably about that, 45, maybe an hour.
That's really fast.
Well, the evidence was clear.
So yes, it was very fast, but he says the evidence was there. We've been talking about this interview all morning, and there you just saw it. Rich, your reaction.
45 minutes. That's really when the decision was made. It wasn't even 2 hours and 50 minutes. That's a jury that didn't have a reasonable doubt, didn't have any doubt. And I just want to highlight the jury for a minute, because in a case like this, I always think about jury service. These people sit there for 6 weeks. They look at some of the most horrendous evidence imaginable. We see a sanitized version on the TV, but they're looking at those crime scene pictures. They're looking right at that evidence, and then they have to make a decision about guilt or innocence. The job those jurors do, and juries across this country do, is amazing. Cannot have the judicial system without them.
Well, not only were they looking at all the evidence, but they were looking at Alex Murdaugh himself when he testified. And the jury just seemed to say, look, the tears, there were no tears. There was just snot. Matt, your thoughts?
You know, I think that this case was sealed when the audio disclosed Alex Murdaugh's voice there immediately at the scene before the murders occurred. At that point, the question about him testifying was made. It was cemented at that point. He had to take the witness stand and say, I lied, I was there prior. And what that also did was open him up to this questioning by the prosecution, which I thought was very effective, although some people thought it was overdone. And that was just to pound away at him lying, looking at his clients in the face and lying, looking at his partners and lying, looking at his family and lying, looking at the police and lying, and just pounding away. This guy is a liar. So when he takes the witness stand, is he going to tell you the truth? Can you believe that he's going to be truthful after he's lied repeatedly throughout his life to everybody that's close to him and that he knows well? And of course, the jury rejected that. And I think that video with his voice on it is the difference in this trial. That's what turned this trial.
And perhaps it was very fitting because Judge Clifton Newman this morning looked Alex Murdaugh in the eye and said, when will the lying stop? And while we wait for that defense presser here, let's take a look back at some of the moments that made history from last night and this morning.
The State versus Richard Alexander Murdaugh, defendant. Indictment for murder, SC Code 16-3-0010, CDR Code 0116. Okay. Guilty verdict. Signed by the forelady, 3/2/23. Docket number 2022-GS-15-00593. The State of South Carolina, County of Colleton, in the Court of General Sessions, the July term of 2022. The State versus Richard Alexander Murdaugh, defendant. Indictment for murder, SC Code 16-3-0010, CDR Code 0116. Verdict, guilty. Signed by the forelady. Date 3/2/23. Docket number 2022-GS-15-00595. The State of South Carolina, County of Colleton, Court of General Sessions, July term 2022. The State versus Richard Alexander Murdaugh, defendant. Indictment for possession of a weapon during the commission of a violent crime. SC Code -16-23-0490. CDR Code 0549. Verdict guilty. Signed by the foreperson of the jury. Date 3/2/23. Docket number 2022 GS-15-00594. The State of South Carolina, County of Colleton, Court of General Sessions, July term 2022. The State versus Richard Alexander Murdaugh, defendant. Indictment for possession of a weapon during the commission of a violent crime. SC Code 16-23-0490. CDR Code 0549. Verdict guilty. Signed by the foreperson of the jury. 3/2/23.
Definitely a lot of twists and turns during this whole trial, but the past 24 hours was like a movie. How would you gentlemen just sum it all up as how this ended? Rich, I'm going to start with you.
It's a great tragedy what happened. It's a stunning downfall of someone so powerful with so much to live for, and I think the jury got it right. Justice has been done.
Matt, we have about 40 seconds here.
Yeah, it is. It's a Shakespearean tragedy. I mean, here's a guy who was a renowned lawyer who started stealing his client's money and ultimately murdered his wife and son to try to cover it up or to gain sympathy.
Yes, and he will now get life in prison as that sentencing hearing went down. Don't forget, there is a defense press conference coming up any moment now, but Rich and Matt and I do have to sign off here. We have enjoyed bringing you this coverage. More coverage to soon. Michael Bryan up next. Stay with us.